What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew 2, and in this video I will be going over the best races to grind in the Jet Sprint class, which I think this could be one of those classes a lot of people do not like using, which I honestly don't blame you because these boats can be pretty hard to drive. But if you're wondering, the best boats I recommend using would be the Proto Rocket and then finally the Proto Hornet, which funnily enough, this is like the first boat you start with and it's still insanely good. Now also guys, I wanted to point this out as well. I will be running the Loot Digger set, a pretty bad one for that matter, but I do not want to run a Nitro Chemist set because I know not everybody actually has this. So I decided to run the Loot Digger set with some pretty bad perks on these, honestly. This should normally be Lucky and Gold Finder on pretty much all of them, but I just didn't want to spend a ton of money and parts on this to do that. I just didn't really think it was worth it. But the Loot Digger set is insanely good for completing other sets if you guys are missing parts you might need. I also wanted to show this using a set that didn't have all that crazy nitrous boost on them because the Nitro Chemist sets are absolutely insane for pretty much every class in this game, but I want to show you guys you can also complete these races pretty easily with using other gold sets as well. So moving over to the first race I highly recommend grinding is going to be the Las Vegas Waterway. Now the main reason I picked this one is because this race is insanely easy to do, but there's a few things I wanted to go over with this. So the first thing is this race could be pretty annoying to do on Ace. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The other AI in this race could be really annoying. If you go kind of too slow, your vehicle might be a little under leveled. You might struggle getting past that one racer in this one because for some reason one of the boats are insanely fast. I really don't know why that is. I would definitely say the AI is going to be the most annoying part about this race, and depending on the boat you guys are running, this race could be a lot harder than it should be. So I do recommend trying the Proto Rocket or the Proto Hornet. I think that will be your best option, and having a couple of races you can switch off from will probably make the grind a lot more fun because you won't have to do just one race the entire time. Unfortunately, some of the classes, only one race is going to be your best option, but luckily with the Jet Sprint, you have a couple of races you can grind, which will make this a lot more fun. Now, I'm sure many people are probably not a big fan of the Jet Sprint class, and do not worry, you're not alone because these boats definitely can be pretty wonky to drive around sometimes, and when it comes to grinding out these races, you guys will probably want to get these done as quickly as possible. So I'm going to be honest, the Vegas Waterway race might be a little frustrating than it really should be sometimes. I notice sometimes you guys can get in front of these racers pretty fast, but other times it takes a second to get in front of the one racer there, which is always seems to be one racer in a lot of these events that is really fast, and the other ones are not for some reason, which is kind of funny. Nonetheless, though, once you get in front, you're pretty much good to go. Now, I did grind the other race I'll get to here in a second. I think that one's much easier if you guys are looking not to deal with the annoying AI and all that. But when it comes to the vehicle y'all want to be running on this, I recommend checking out the Proto Rocket or the Proto Hornet. These boats are definitely my favorite. The only issue is the Hornet is insanely cheap and the Rocket's almost 300,000 bucks, which definitely could be an issue if you guys are trying to, like, you know, grind the class out and all that. Nonetheless, though, this race really isn't too bad once you get in front, because I noticed once you get a little bit of lead, you normally stay ahead of them and you can pretty much pull away even without a chemist set on here. I definitely know some of these vehicle classes can be pretty annoying to grind out, especially like not being max leveled and all that. Like the vehicles are like 3 or 4, 10 levels behind. Sometimes doing Ace could be pretty annoying, and it just seems like you cannot even keep up with them. But luckily, some of these really aren't too bad, and I do find this race pretty fun. Not only that, but it's also in a really nice area. Is why I also like doing it. It's fun driving through Vegas and all that. And luckily, the boat, without even using nitrous that much, can stay ahead of the other racers pretty easily. So this one can also get you ready for the summits, because this race has shown up in the summits a good amount of times, so it wouldn't be bad to practice it a little bit. Anyway, let's jump into my #1 favorite race so you don't have to deal with these crazy AI. I'm moving over to my all-time favorite race to grind in the Jet Sprint class will be the main Highlands Cave all the way over here in the Crown of Maine. Now, the main reason why I picked this race, no pun intended there, is because I do find it the easiest, and it could be done around 1 minute and 40 seconds, similar to the Las Vegas Waterway. But the best part is you're literally not racing against a bunch of annoying AI. You pretty much race against a ghost, and you have to pretty much beat your time on this one. I think this is a lot more fun this way, and the AI really don't get to annoy you as much in that race, but I do highly recommend switching off. I do think that'll make the park grinding a lot more fun because this can definitely take some time to get these vehicles maxed out, and also running a Loot Digger set can definitely cut the time in half and or less, depending on how lucky you guys get with the parts that are dropping from the races. Now, one of the big reasons why I actually picked this race for my main overall favorite is probably because it's actually really fun to do as well. Not only is it easy, but it's also really enjoyable. The track's very fun. You can't really run into a lot of stuff except trees and all that. And luckily, there's no crazy AI in this thing to really annoy you if they do get in your way or something like that. And the track's also very simple, and I notice this also shows up in summits a lot, so it could be really good practice as well. And we all know how the Jet Sprint boats really drive around. Sometimes it could be really annoying, and I really don't think I see anyone use them at all. Let me know in the comments below if you guys actually use these boats quite often. You can also cut a little bit here on this one as well, getting this done literally in 1 minute and 30 or so seconds. And I really do enjoy doing this one as well, and crazily enough, the Proto Rocket just completely owns all of them. Anyway, I would definitely say the main Highlands cave will be your best bet if you guys are trying to level these up and you're just starting out as well, because there's no really annoying AI, and I notice on Ace, some of the AI really screw you over if your vehicle's not maxed out. I noticed that on the motocross bikes as well. Nonetheless, let me know your guys' thoughts on the jet sprint boats in the comments below. I honestly just don't see a lot of people using these. I want to know what everyone thinks about them.